Okay, so last video we end right here. Changing population size. Just so you guys know, my dog is with me. I don't know when he's gonna bark. I don't think he's gonna bark, but just so you guys know. So here you go. Okay, there's two situations when we're talking about population size. Well, one, we have zero population growth. That means there's no gain. Okay, no, the birth rate equals the death rate. So, however many people is born equals however many people died. Okay, that's zero gain. And second one is exponential population growth. Okay, the graph, the graph right here, the two graphs right here, those are all depicting exponential population growth. Okay, this is imagining populations are under ideal condition, within ideal condition, so populations grow without any stops. No, not you. You can eat. Sorry, my dog stopped eating because I said stop. Okay, this is an example of how elephant population grow exponentially. They have very little individuals within the population, and then because there's a lot of resources, they were able to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Okay, now, like I said earlier, the elephant had unlimited resources at the time, but in reality, unlimited resources are extremely rare, and so we have a more updated model. Instead of exponential growth, we have a logistic model, which talks about there's actually a carrying capacity. Okay, the population are actually slowly curving towards this logistic growth capacity because there is a maximum stable population. Okay, which using the letter K right here to emphasize this. So just kind of give you guys two things to remember. Okay, unlimited exponential growth, it's called J curve. I didn't put it right here, but this is J curve. It looks more like a J, so we call it J curve. Exponential growth, J curve. Exponential growth, but with the carrying capacity in mind. That's what we call S curve. That's what the K value is. Okay, S curve. Looks like S. J curve, exponential. S curve has a carrying capacity. Now, as you can see, I talk about a lot about the bacteria and laboratory. In laboratory setting, even though we can supply unlimited amount of food for the bacteria and so on and so forth, the entire environment still has a carrying capacity. So as you can see, it's more like exponential very beginning, but quickly it will die off because that's a carrying capacity. The same thing with this species as well. And these are the two factors that limits population growth. One is density dependent. Basically, it talks about these factors has to do a lot with population. Second one is density independent. This one talks about it has absolutely nothing to do with population. Okay. Let me talk about independent first because it's really easy to think of. Anything that doesn't have to do with population. All the natural disasters. Okay. Earthquake, fire, crazy weather, flood, tornado, etc., etc. All these natural events that's supposed to make, or that would affect the density population. Okay, density of a population. Sorry. Okay. Second thing. Now we're going to talk about density dependent. This is talking about a lot of things that happen within our populations. Predation, another animal eating one animal. Diseases related to human. Common cold can be a factor, and so is a lot of different kind of diseases, Black Death and etc., plague and all that kind of stuff. There's also competition. Okay, which one is going to reproduce and survive? Territories and etc., etc. Those are a density dependent factor. Okay, so density independent, density dependent. One has to do with population itself, the other one doesn't. Okay, now these two are, think of them as like quote unquote strategy of how animals raise their offspring. Okay, case selection. Case selection. Let's talk about case selection first. Okay, case selection. That means the population will live around the caring capacity. Okay, the parents will usually care a lot about their offspring. Okay, because this is high caring strategy, quote unquote. So they actually have a low birth number because every single baby needs to be cared. Okay, and usually have very good survival rate of their young. Okay, and usually it's because density dependent situation. Okay, and human actually falls into case selection. So is elephant. Okay, so is a lot of mammals. Okay, R selection, we're talking about strategy. That when you are the population usually looks more like exponential growth. There's actually very little care from the parental side. Okay, and because there is really little care, the parents will try to give as much birth to their baby as possible. So high birth number. Okay, and because the environment is not very kind to baby, and parents doesn't care, there is actually poor survival rate for the young, and a lot of time it's density independence. Okay, for example, cockroaches, their parents don't care about their offspring, so they just lay eggs, and everybody for themselves. Okay, and then as you know, when cockroaches show up, we tend to kill them. So yeah, and the parents are like, no, kill us first. No, that doesn't happen. So yeah, low care, very little care. Okay, this is kind of talking about how population fluctuate because biotic and embiotic factors. Biotic means something has to do with life. Embiotic, something doesn't have to do with life. Okay, as you can see, the blue curve is the wolf population. The red one is the moose population, and you can see that when the wolf population increased, oh, what happened to the red one? The red one decreased. And then because the red one decreased, the wolf population also comes down because there's not much food. And then because there's not much wolf, the moose population increases again. So this is kind of cyclical cycle of their population between the uh, two organism, two population. And this one, it's the same thing. You can see, and this is the hare, the little rabbit right here, cute. This is lynx. Okay, whenever the snowshoe hare has a higher population, almost right afterward, we will see a bloom of lynx population gain. Okay, and then it will drop because there's no more hare. You ate them all, and then it'll come up, and then the lynx grow, and then both fall. Okay, grow, fall, grow, fall. Okay, so they're related. Okay, they're related. Okay, boom and bust circle. Basically, we're talking about the predator and prey interaction. Okay, and then we have seen this cycle. It's more like a 10-year cycle because the hair needs to grow, and while hair grow, lynx die. And when the lynx grow, hair dies, and because hair die, lynx die. So yeah, think about, imagine if we don't have any more chicken to eat, then we will have lower population because we don't have food. And then because we don't eat as many chickens because we have lower population, then there's more chicken. But it doesn't really apply to human because we have ways to manipulate our environment so it's more suitable for us. Now, human population growth. Okay, two different configuration basically for stable human population. One is high birth rate, high death rate. The other one's low birth rate and low death. Okay, and then whenever we have demographic transition, we're talking about transitioning from A to B. Okay, model A, high birth rate, high death rate. Two model B, low birth rate and low death rate. And this is kind of like a example of how we use age structure diagram in humans to determine whether a population is going to grow or it's going to not grow, or it's going to grow slowly. Okay, so right here, if you see a much larger, lower demographic, lower percent population are young, then you will have a crazy growth. See, rapid growth. Because when they grow up that time, that means this section is going to move up. Okay, assuming nothing happened to them. Okay, United States. Oh, sorry, this is Afghanistan. Forgot to mention the country. United States has a low, slow growth. Okay, the bottom it's almost the same as the top, the middle. That means when it moves up, that time it's gonna move up this group. So that means it's a slow, slow growth. Okay, no growth is when this is happening. Okay, you have very little population right here. So when this move up, this one is not gonna be bigger, but this is gonna move up higher as well. Okay, and because these two countries has much lower death rate due to medical events, and then just more developed countries, so this one will actually have a no growth outcome because a low young population. We have United States has not much larger, but larger lower population. That's why it's gonna maintain growth as this population move up. So that's the difference between these three. And this one, the same thing. This one's gonna grow hugely because that's the population that's gonna grow older. Now we're gonna talk about global carrying capacity. Here you go. So the United Nations predicts 7.8 to 10.8 billion people by the year of 2050. However, 2014, we are already at 7.2 billion. This is a little old prediction, and they haven't come up with a new one. At least I couldn't find it. So right now, as I make the video, we have 7.2. Okay, and if you're interested, go Google current world population, and then find a website that has a .org at the end or .edu. Those are usually more accurate. Okay, and then so because we have this crazy prediction at the year 2050, we also need to worry the fact that, well, does Earth have carrying capacity? Well, we predict that Earth carrying capacity is around 10 to 15 billion. Okay, so we're pretty close, and we actually have a crazy ecological footprint throughout the world. And basically, ecological footprint is talking about total land plus total water area needed for all the resources a person consumes in a population. Okay, so this is the stats. Okay, it doesn't seem quite as crazy, but let me see. Let me show you. Let me show you as a graph. Let me show you as a graph. These are kind of like dividing different resources, but this is the graph. Ecological footprint of the world, of different countries in the world. Okay, and then this graph has changed its size in proportion to this how much ecological footprint that each country needs. Okay, so if the country are smaller, much smaller than the normal, that means they actually don't have much ecological footprint. So for a lot of, well, for this entire region, basically, you have large ecological footprint. That means people needs more, requires more to survive. Okay, and then there's a lot of more people that requires more stuff. Okay, so as you can see, it's a very out of proportion picture, and it should be alarming to us that, well, even though we've been living like there's absolutely no limiting capacity, but in reality, yes, there is only one Earth, and we got to take care of it because, when it's full, it's full. and we gotta